welcome back to Omoshiroi Recap. Today, I will recap Charlotte. The story begins with a high school student named Yu Atasaka. He can possess other people's bodies for 5 seconds, and Yu can steal other people's powers. While at school, Yu always gets the first rank with his power. Because he wanted to get into the best high school there, Yu decided to investigate the participants by taking various tutoring classes to find out which one was the smartest. When the entrance exam took place, Yu had found anyone who was smart in that class, so Yu can possess them and copy all their answers. In the end, Yu was accepted as a student with the highest score and delivered a speech in front of all the first-year high school students. Because Yu is very handsome and smart, many female students try to approach him. But Yu rejected them all because he didn't want to be with an ordinary girl. Knowing that there is a famous beautiful girl named Yumi, so Yu wants to make her a girlfriend. Then Yu plans something extraordinary to make Yumi fall in love with him. After Yu saves her from being hit by a car, Yumi immediately falls in love with him, and their relationship becomes closer. As a result, everything went according to Yu's plan.
またこうして一緒に結婚したり。
そうだね。いいよ。
よかった。
The next day, Yu was summoned to the student council room. It turned out that Yu was under suspicion because he always got the highest scores. Yu was asked to prove his intelligence by answering the exam sheets in the room. Otherwise, Yu would be expelled from school. Then Yu tried to use his power to see the answer sheet in the hands of the student council president. After that, suddenly, a student council president from another school met him. Her name was Tomori, and she showed evidence that Yu had cheated with superpowers. Because all his actions were known, he panicked and immediately ran away. However, he is chased by Tomori's partner, Takajo, who has the power of deadly teleportation. After being hit by a deadly header, Yu immediately fainted in the river. Then Tomori with an invisible force beats Yu. Tomori explains that Yu will be transferred to Hoshinoumi Academy, a special school whose students have superpowers. It turns out that superpowers are considered a teenager's disease and will go away when they grow up. After that, Yu returned to his house and was greeted by his sister Ayumi. Ayumi explained that she had also moved to Hoshinoumi Academy. The next day, they moved to a new apartment, and Tomori with Takajo also helped them. Then Yu officially transferred to Hoshinoumi Academy and joined the student council, so Yu can help them stop people from abusing superpowers. If not, scientists will catch them and serve as guinea pigs. After that, Yu will be in class with the two of them. During recess, they want to eat in the cafeteria. However, the cafeteria was filled with students and Takajo used his power to take the food he wanted to buy. Even though he succeeded, but he was seriously injured. Then they held a meeting to look for super ability students, and then there was a man heading to their place. He has the power to track other superpower users. His name is Kumagami. After getting the information of his whereabouts, they immediately headed there. There they found a suspicious student, and without further ado, they immediately arrested the student. He bought a photo of a girl in panties from another student. The student named Yudo has the power of spirit photography. Knowing this, they immediately caught him, but Yudo didn't accept it and instead wanted to shoot arrows at Tomori. Fortunately, this handsome man was a very fast response and managed to protect Tomori. In the end, Yudo gave up after Tomori explained everything about scientists who will make it experimental material, and that power will disappear when they grow up. Then Tomori tells the fate of her brother, who scientists made a guinea pig. Therefore, Tomori does not want other people to suffer the same fate as her brother. After her brother was rescued, her brother was insane and didn't remember Tomori. The next day, the two of them ate together in the cafeteria. Then Tomori asked them to gather immediately, because Kumagami will come again to meet them.
能力は口寄せもう一つ
発火2つの能力を有しているなんて
The student is named Yusa, and someone is chasing her. They headed straight there. Once there were suspicious people, and even Tomori was immediately slapped. Fortunately, their deadly combo managed to paralyze the person. It turns out that the television show producer ordered someone to arrest Yusa. After the person was taken to the hospital because he was seriously injured, a man appeared to meet them, and he informed them of Yusa's whereabouts. As a result, they met Yusa the idol.
ゆさりんこと西森ゆさです。ではまずあなたの本名を教えてください。
黒羽ゆさです。てめえに
も聞いてねえよ。
And Yusa explained what had happened to her. It turns out that Yusa had an older sister named Mise, who died in an accident half a year ago. Then suddenly, Mise took over Yusa's body and showed her ferocity by burning the place down. After understanding the situation, Tomori offers cooperation to Mise to save Yusa from the pursuit of the producers. Then they met the producer and beat up his subordinates, and made the producer mentally hit. In the end, the producers didn't want to force Yusa. However, due to the incident, there is a big risk that Yusa will become the target of scientists. So Tomori asked Yusa to attend their school. Then Yusa introduced herself as a transfer student and was going to be in the same class as Tomori and the others. Of course, the appearance of Yusa the idol made one class very excited. Then Tomori and the others gathered again in the student council room because Kumagami would return to give a new mission.
能力は念動力
This time, a baseball member named Arifumi who can control his ball throw with the power of telekinesis. After completing their investigation, they immediately met the person. Tomori explained everything to him, but Arifumi still didn't believe it and didn't want to listen to what they were saying. As a result, Tomori wanted to have a baseball match with him. If Arifumi loses, then he can no longer use this power. A few moments later, Tomori and the others won the match, and Arifumi promised not to use his power again. But Tomori asked you to possess Arifumi's body just in case. You can be sure that Tomori here already knows Yu's true power.
ありがとうございます。
The next day at school, Yu saw Tomori being beaten up by other students. Because he didn't know what was going on, Yu just watched Tomori being beaten up. After all that, Kumagami returned to meet them in the student council room.
能力は空中浮揚
This time there was someone with the ability to fly in the sky. Incidentally, Tomori had found some information along with the location of the incident. Therefore, they prepare provisions for spending the night in the forest later, to be able to monitor and immediately meet that person. When they got there, they immediately set up tents and dinner. Then, while the two of them were playing a game, Yu and Tomori was alone. Because Yu was curious about the song Tomori often heard, Yu finally tried it. The song was so good that it could make Yu feel calm and nostalgic. It even surfaced the original memory of Yu being with someone. Then Tomori also gave it to Yu as a gift. The next day, a person who could fly appeared to meet them. Tomori tried to threaten him with video footage of his power. Knowing this, he immediately grabbed Tomori's camera. Here Yu's response was very slow and he managed to escape and fly into the sky. As a result, Yu instead took over his body while at a high altitude.
なんて高さだ止まれ
Fortunately, Yu could still control the power of flight, so he landed safely. After that, Tomori warned him and explained everything, so he would no longer use this power, because when that power disappears while he is flying, he will die. After all that, Ayumi fell ill because she had a fever, so Ayumi would temporarily rest in the house. Then when at school, Kumagami returned to meet them suddenly. The ability collapsed, and the location was Yu's apartment. Knowing this, they wanted to stop by Yu's place, but before that, they kicked Takajo because he wouldn't be invited.
怪我でもさせるかはいってキリンがいるんですか
After buying some groceries, they arrived at the apartment. When they entered, 3 people had visited. They are Ayumi's classmates, but one of them has a scary look at Ayumi. However, Yu was not aware of that. Then the arrival of Tomori with the others made Ayumi feel happy. She even got a nosebleed when she saw her idol Yusa meet her. After that, they ate porridge together, and finishing eating, Yu and Tomori cleaned the dishes. Seeing this, Ayumi felt they were very suitable and suggested that Yu date Tomori.
送ってくるよ。すぐ戻る。
ユー
だから違う。
The next day, Ayumi is healthy again, but Yu wants Ayumi to stay at home because Yu has a bad feeling if Ayumi goes to school. However, Ayumi didn't even listen to her brother's words and chose to attend school secretly. On the other hand, Tomori received information that Ayumi had headed to school. Knowing that, they immediately head there and sense something bad might happen later. When Ayumi was at school, her classmates hated Ayumi because the boy she likes has feelings of love for Ayumi, so she wants to kill her in revenge. In the end, Ayumi was cornered, and the power of undermining accidentally became active. So that the school was destroyed and the rubble killed Ayumi. Meanwhile, Yu panicked and wanted to look for Ayumi in ruins immediately, but the ruins of the buildings there fell on Yu. After being hit by building debris, Yu fainted and was taken to the hospital. When he regained consciousness, Yu received the sad news that Ayumi had died. Of course, Yu was sad and felt sorry for his sister's departure. Finally, Yu, who had lost his enthusiasm, became a loner at home and continued to eat noodles while watching television. After that, Yusa and Takajo tried to meet Yu, but Yu ignored their presence there. Then came Yumi, who wanted to take him out of the house to get excited again. But Yu was angry and asked Yumi to leave immediately. Then, because Yu felt that he would be arrested by force, Yu immediately left there and headed to the place to play games. While playing game, Yu goes crazy, and his personality changes due to his addiction to playing the game. Not only that, Yu was also involved in a fight there. Yu also used his powers, and those who were daydreaming suddenly got punched by their friends. Of course, they were shocked. Even Yu mercilessly scared that person to death.
片目潰してもいい？ギガンかっこいいじゃん。行くよ。待ってた！
As a result, Yu became the #1 delinquent there. When Yu wanted to try illegal drugs, Tomori immediately kicked the object.
進んでしまったら、もう二度と人として戻ってこられません。
It turned out that Tomori had always been watching over Yu from the start. Tomori also brings Yu to stop by Takajo's empty house and prepares the food that Ayumi always makes for Yu.
最後のオムライスだったのか。甘くてまずいのに。
Remembering that made Yu cry. After that, Yu decided to go back to school with them. The next day, Yu was back to living his school life, as usual. Then they watched Yusa's latest music video. Of course, Takajo gets excited. After that, Tomori invites Yu to the Jin concert, where Jin was Tomori's favorite singer. Even the song can make Yu feel nostalgic before. When he came home from school, Yu accidentally met the vocalist Jin. Her name was Sarah, and she was blind. After talking to each other, Sarah could tell that Yu was desperate. Yu told her about his younger sister who had died. Then Yu asked Sarah to come with him to the hospital so that she could meet with Tomori's brother because he is a Jin fan. Sarah was singing right before him.
Always yearning, don't know why but the beauty.
ナオさんのこと覚えてますか？
Because her singing felt peaceful and serene, it can make him more relaxed, even started to remember Tomori. The next day, Yu and Tomori also attended the Jin concert. When Yu was in the middle of the concert, suddenly his head became dizzy and he immediately fainted, and even his memories started returning. Yu and Ayumi are kept in the scientist's place. There Yu becomes friends with Kumagami. Kumagami explains that he found someone with telepathic abilities. They intend to carry out the mission together. Even Kumagami's comrades will also help him. For their freedom, Yu's power is their hope. When Ayumi's power was known and cracked the place, Yu immediately looked for someone with telepathic abilities and stole him. Not only that, Kumagami's partner also helped open the way so that Yu could get to his brother's place.
歩みがどうして施設を壊すほどの能力を持ったんだ。僕が兄さんを助ける。だからタイムリープしてこの世界を変えてくれ。
His name is Shunsuke. He is tied up because his strength is overpowered, namely the power of time leap. After Yu freed Shun, he finally opened his eyes and returned to the past to change the world.
任せたよ兄さん。ああ、未来のために世界を変える。
When you woke up at the hospital with Tomori, Kumagami met them there. Kumagami wants to take them to meet Shun at the secret place. When they got there, they met Shun, whose eyes were blind. Of course, his power had almost disappeared. Then Shun tells about the power of time leap. 3 years before scientists captured them, Shun gathers the super-powered teenagers and forms a group together. After repeatedly using the power of time leap, it made Shun's eyesight worse. If he is blind, then Shun cannot use his power anymore. Fortunately, at the last moment, Shun got the idea to build a school and protect students with superpowers until their powers disappear when they grow up. When Shun's plan has succeeded, he asks his partner to erase Ayumi's memory with Yu about Shun's whereabouts to maintain their peaceful life someday.
リープを繰り返して今の教育機関を作っただなんてすごい。
Because Yu had remembered Shun, he wanted Yu to take away the power of time leap, so Yu could save Ayumi and steal her powers. After that, Yu returns to the past and realizes that the perpetrator who made Ayumi's powers go out of control is Ayumi's classmate. Before Ayumi recovers from her fever, Yu immediately steals Ayumi's powers. But the mission is still not over because Ayumi's classmate intends to kill her. Yu asks Tomori for help and explained that he was from the future. He also believes that Yu comes from the future, so the next day, they infiltrated the school. When Ayumi almost died, Yu immediately protected her and made the person afraid so that she would no longer dare to find trouble with Ayumi. In the end, they managed to save Ayumi. Then came Kumagami to meet them and wanted to take them to Shun's place. After that they met Shun. Then a scientist creates a vaccine to stop the spread of superpowers. It turns out that the superpower comes from a comet particle named Charlotte, and the comet always crosses the Earth once every 75 years. When Charlotte's particles spread to the Earth and are sucked up by children, superpowers will arise in their bodies when they are teenagers. Then when Kumagami wanted to go to Tomori's place, suddenly, the car driver was threatened by a group of Westerners. Because his family was threatened, he had no choice but to bring Kumagami to the location of the criminal group. When he got there, Kumagami was immediately punched and knocked down until he fainted. He was even injected with honesty serum, and Kumagami received very sadistic torture. As a result, Kumagami unknowingly leaked all the information to them. After that, they infiltrated and managed to kidnap Tomori, and then they asked Shun to hand over Yu.
から脅されていたんですか。学園設立に向けて動き出した頃から。そいつは厳しいな。
Knowing that, they immediately discuss plans to fight them. Only Yu can save Kumagami and Tomori. Of course, the burden that Yu bears is very large. A slight mistake will end fatally, but his determination became firm after remembering Tomori's previous words. The next day, Yu heads there alone and immediately fights them off. But he was easily defeated, and his eyes were injured. Of course, the power of Time Leaf cannot be used, so Yu went out of control and destroyed the place.
まずいです。崩壊が起きてます。
どうなってる？
絶望的です。
After that, the criminals managed to get crushed by the building, while Yu managed to survive. Although Tomori survived, it was Kumagami who protected Tomori from the rubble of the building, so Kumagami was seriously injured and breathed his last there.
神、勝手に行くな！いなくなるな！神！
A few days later, Yu woke up in the hospital. They explained everything that had happened in Kumagami's death. Of course, this made them sad about the death of their best friend. While Shun is also very sad, looking the same as Yu lost Ayumi. Then Yu meets Tomori because Yu doesn't want to lose anyone anymore. Tomori also provides a way so he can protect everyone. He must steal all the power in the world until nothing remains, so that scientists or criminals no longer target them. However, the risk is that Yu might become a monster or have side effects on his body. Yu also accepts Tomori's advice and will do it as soon as possible. Before that, Yu expressed his feelings for Tomori, and the two promised to date if Yu was still alive, after seizing all the power in the world.
本当にやり遂げたら無条件で私は音坂優という存在を愛おしく思うでしょう。
必ず戻ってくる。
ありがとうございます。
Then Yu explained everything to Shun, seeing Yu's determination was firm. Shun rose from his grief and fully supported Yu's desperation. Yu will steal superpowers overseas while Shun keeps tabs on superpower users in Japan. Before leaving, the two of them exchange objects. Yu gets an English translation of writing to help Yu abroad. At the same time, Tomori will keep Yu's MP3 music until he returns. After that, Yu continued to steal all the power from superpower users until nothing was left, even moving to various countries, so he was feared and nicknamed the One-Eyed God of Death. However, side effects started appearing in his body, which is where Yu's memories faded. He even got out of control and made destruction in various places. As time goes by, he almost goes crazy, but after seeing the note given by Tomori, Yu remembers his purpose and even regrets kicking the note. Then Yu became the strongest and invincible, and completed his mission. When Yu was dying, Shun came to pick Yu up there. A few days later, Yu woke up in the hospital accompanied by Tomori. However, Yu lost all his memory. Tomori also explained that she was his girlfriend. Seeing that Yu always kept a record of his gifts, she is happy to know that Yu loves her. So this anime ends happily.
これは僕にとってお守りみたいなものだったんだ。ずっとこれだけは手放せないでいた。
ありがとう、音坂優くん。おかえりなさい。
And that is the end of the video. Remember to subscribe and like this video, so see you in the next video.